Why should I read your book? I think that's a question that nobody is really asking themselves. A lot of people are out there just going, fuck, I want to be a writer. I want to be a writer and I'm going to be great. Never wrote a book before, never bothered to try, never practiced, never did anything. Didn't even ask themselves the question, why does anybody else want to read my book? Why? Now, it's not fair to stop you there. It really isn't. I think everybody needs to try and write. Sure. It's just like my uncle used to try and paint in the basement. He got himself a nice set of oils and set up an easel, put on some nice music, um, put himself in a tranquil little corner, and painted. I really doubt, he followed that guy, I forget his name, that painted happy mountains and stuff like that. And, you know, he was practicing something for himself and didn't pretend that he was going to be, some other famous artist. He just practiced writing. Now, there's nothing, writing, painting. There's nothing wrong with doing the same thing with writing. But for some reason, it seems that everybody who's writing now thinks that automatically, just because they've written something, just because they put something down, that it's just fantastic because it came out of them. Doesn't matter if it's organized. Doesn't matter if it has a point. It just has to be there. Look what I accomplished. You did the same thing when you were in kindergarten and you brought home your little cutout pumpkin. I'm trying not to, fly off the end again. But that's what you did. You brought it home for mommy to look at. And it was a sweet little thing. They were teaching you how to do some artwork. You may have even had fun doing it. Swell. But you wouldn't try and sell it, would you? Why should I read your book? I want to know. I mean, when I have favorite authors already, people like, Samuel Beckett, who happens to be my favorite author, writing in probably a genre that you may not even have heard of if you're most of the people that I talk to. Absurdist or existentialist, depends on who you were talking to, and maybe it slides between the two of them. You're maybe not even familiar enough with the idea that there was an ocean of literature before you started writing your book of fiction. Why is it special? Why do I want to know who you are? Why do I care about the words that you're putting on page? Why do I care if you think you're suddenly going to become a millionaire because you tried to do something? Never mind how good it is, it doesn't matter. You still got it up on Amazon and you're expecting thousands and thousands of people to buy it because you put it there. That's when you need to ask yourself the other question. Why should anyone else read your book? Did you put in the effort? Did you learn? Did you learn how to write before you put it down? Do you think you're naturally gifted? And that's mostly for fiction writers. But again, take the example of my uncle. If you go out, no, I tell you, hey, go out to the dollar store, pick up a little package of paints. How hard could it be? Just become an artist. Just sit down, buy a little canvas and a little box of oil paints and a couple brushes. Sit down and paint something like Gauguin. No problem. right? Sistine Chapel, you could be doing all of that crap because you're that good. Everybody wants to see your painting before you've even put a brush stroke on a canvas. This is what a lot of you people are saying right now about your writing. And this is putting a big black mark on all the people who are self-publishing now because you are not you're so careless about what you put out there. I read so much trash that people throw at me. It's embarrassing. I mean, not just for me, for humanity. That people have absolutely no conscious level of what's been done before in literature, and yet they're putting out their fiction books. Now, nonfiction, again, is something different. Why is it different? Nonfiction is different because you can actually have new things to say about something. New topics come out all the time. Do you think Elon Musk couldn't write a book and say something sort of interesting about, the new style of doing business, the way that he's become very successful? That's very different. What makes your fiction different than everybody else's? Than Herman Melville, a little book called Moby Dick. Then Old Man in the Sea. Hemingway. Sorry, just having a little brain embolism. Um, what makes you special? Why does everyone want to read your stuff? I think so many people are obsessed with, the idea of, oh, all I have to do is hit a word count. All I have to do is, make sure that it's formatted correctly. All I have to do is run it through a grammar check. No. No. That's not what makes a book great. It's never what makes a book great. Nonfiction writers, have at it. The only 9 publications I have are nonfiction books. And there's a good reason for that. It's because I was writing about a topic that was new at the time. And I also approached it in a unique way. That made my books worth selling. Fiction, what are you doing new? I want to know. I want you to tell me. Anybody with balls, please, write a comment below and tell me why your fiction is better than Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, William Faulkner. I mean, just run down the list of everybody who's written before you and tell me why yours is better. And if you can't, then you're only playing. You're not trying. And if you're putting it out to sell it, those are the people that you're competing against. You might not like that as a thought, but those are the people you're competing against. The great writers of all time are the people that you're competing against. So, why do you have to read old writers? You have to read old writers in order to know what went before you. If you don't know that, what are you doing? You're sitting there spinning your wheels and then hoping, you have enough mothers that are going to buy your book. Usually people only have one, maybe 2. In extreme cases where there's a lot of divorces in the family, maybe more than that. But there's only so many people that you can sell a book to. And if you're not competing with the masters, which means you have to learn the craft, what are you doing? You just went out to the Chinese store, you bought a paint set, and you're slapping paint on a canvas and thinking it's art. That's what you're doing. Challenge me on that one. I'd be interested to hear comments. Thanks for your interest and time. Have a nice day.